Yes, people, welcome back to Pearson Fitness. Little quick push day video today. Thought I'd just get the camera out, map on a little bit of time and show you a functional bodybuilding push day. So at the minute, I want to put on a little bit of size, so I'm splitting my training up a little bit differently, doing a little bit more bodybuilding stuff with a little bit of a functional slash CrossFit twist. Good thing about this style of training is you can space out and you can set time for how long your training session is going to be. So I know this training session, excluding like the warm up and cool down and all that stuff, is going to be exactly 45 minutes. So we've got a 10-minute block, 10-minute block, 10-minute block, and a 15-minute block. Which, if you don't do maths, well, if you can't do maths very well, sorry, it's 45 minutes.
Quick maths.
So how we're going to work it, we want to cover all areas. We want to cover our shoulders, we want to cover our chest, we want to cover our triceps, and then because we want to stay functional, we're going to do a little bit of functional cardio conditioning, something at the end. So how we're going to kick it off. Today I'm prioritizing my shoulders, so my overhead pressing movement, 10 minutes every 2.5 minutes. So that means you set a timer for 2.5 minutes and you're going to set it for 10 minutes long, so it's going to be 4 rounds. So every 2.5 minutes I am going to complete 8 strict overhead presses. So if you haven't seen one of my previous videos talking about how I structure my training, I like to structure it in different blocks. This block will work in sets of 8, so 4 sets of 8 every 2.5 minutes. Should give you about 2 minutes recovery. Pretty, not 100% full recovery, but enough recovery that we can lift as heavy as possible and keep the form, keep the strength pretty high, so we can, like I said, lift as heavy as possible. So 4 sets of 8. Then from there, if you need a little bit of a warm-up, maybe do a quick 1 or 2 warm-up sets, but then we're going straight into 10 minutes every 2.5 minutes. Again, our chest movement for the day is going to be dumbbell bench press, 8 reps. Again, don't stress too much if one set you only get 7 reps, just drop the weight the next set and catch it up as long as you're around that 8 rep mark. From there, we're going to go to our tricep compound movement. Same thing, 10 minutes every 2.5 minutes on the minute. 4 sets of 8 on the dips. So a little bit of a tricep compound movement. Finishing off 15-minute EMOM, so every minute on the minute. We're going to go minute 1, dumbbell lateral raises to isolate the delts, lateral delts specifically. Second minute, we're going to be going overhead tricep extension with the dumbbell, isolating the triceps, but working it in more of a stretch position, whereas with the dips, we've worked it in more of a shortened range, so covering all aspects of the tricep. And finish off, I'm just going to be doing upper body only skiing. You can do full body, you could do something like a row, you could do something like the assault bike, you could even do burpees if you wanted to. But I'm resting my knees a little bit. I'm trying to resolve all my knee issues at the minute now that I've stopped playing football. So I'm just going to be doing upper body only, 12 calorie ski, get the upper body moving, get the heart rate going. Going to be doing 5 rounds of that, 15 minutes worth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, you get the idea. So going to get warmed up, crack on with this, and I will walk you through the functional bodybuilding push session. Also ignore these are just for my clients' 1 minute max ski challenge, and that's their distances. So there is a prize at the end of every month for all my one-to-one clients for the challenge. This month, like I said, 1K max ski. There's gonna be a male and female champion who will receive a prize, but just ignore that and just focus on this for the time being. Let's get going. Right, so once we have properly warmed up the upper body, started off with 15 cal ski, just to get the heart rate going, nothing too crazy. Going on to some banded shoulder dislocations, mainly to get the shoulders loosened off. A lot of people have tight biceps, tight chest, tight shoulders. So when they're overhead pressing, they end up pressing out in this range of motion. What we want to focus on overhead pressing is getting our arm, our bicep in line with our shoulder. So working the banded shoulder dislocations, just the PVC pipe shoulder dislocations, you can use a band. Just loosens off the shoulders, gets our posture right, loosens off the chest, loosens off the biceps, gets the shoulders right. 10 reps of that one. Moving on to dynamic Blackburns. Just again, if you're someone who struggles with shoulder impingement, you might have a lot of weakness of all these muscles around your shoulders and around your shoulder blades. So you want to work on being able to get that arm up into position, having the strength. Also works on posture. So if you're someone who does a lot of chest press, a lot of shoulders, you might be slightly rounded at the shoulders. We want to make sure we're opening that up. Again, working the muscles behind the shoulder joint, just to keep us in good posture. Also the little squeeze at the back loosens off the front delts. And you might have a little popping sensation when you do it as well. So we did 10 reps of that. I'm just gonna quickly stretch off my overhead position. So whatever grip I would normally do for a strict overhead press, I'm just gonna get into position, take my hands, like I said, maybe just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, so you don't wanna be superly narrow, otherwise that'll be very tricep dominant. If you think of the amount of range of motion and the amount of stress that's gonna be in your elbows in that position, you wanna go a little bit wider, maybe say, there's shoulder width, touch wider than shoulder width. Trying to work on a little bit of wrist flexibility as well. If you're someone who doesn't have good wrist flexibility, you'll probably end up pressing with your hand in line with your elbow, which means you have to drive up and then back to press overhead. So if you can work on your wrist flexibility, get into the position where you can get at least your wrist in line with a shoulder, that'll massively help with your overhead pressing. If you can't do that, if you're not really too bothered about what you do, you're more just kind of training for aesthetics, I would dumbbell shoulder press over anything. I just enjoy barbell movements. You can overload it easier, you can lift heavier, and it's good to just get used to using a barbell and work on that mobility. So like I was saying before, anyway, before I got sidetracked, stretching off, getting in position, a little bit wider than shoulder width for me, and then all we're going to do is just drop down and stretch into that overhead position. Should feel a good stretch in the biceps, in the chest. Just again, we want to make sure that we can get our arms straight overhead when we're overhead pressing and not out in front. And then from there, we'll go into our first warm-up set. Again, I'm trying to get that front rack position, elbows pushed forward, good grip of the bar, pressing straight overhead, making sure I'm squeezing my glutes and driving straight up. Just control on the way down, as far down as I feel comfortable, slowly down, and then press up. So if I come from a side view when you're overhead pressing, show you a few things that commonly go wrong, things that I see people don't do when they're overhead pressing. Like I said before, make sure you squeeze your glutes. If you keep your glutes tight, that's going to stop you from arching your lower back, creating that little arch in that lumbar spine. We want to keep the glutes engaged. We want to suck our core in. So if you've ever done the exercise, dead bugs, hollow holds, anything that's working the front of the core, working on that pelvic control, we want to tilt our pelvis forward and keep our stomach pushed in. Otherwise, we're going to end up with our bum sticking out. That's putting a lot of pressure on our lumbar spine. We can get lower back injuries. So we want to suck our core in as tight as we can. Like I said with the elbow position, what I talked about before, so a lot of people might press in this position where the hands are in front of the elbows. If we can work on that wrist and that shoulder mobility to the point that we can get our hands and our wrists in line with our elbows, that's what we want to work to. And when we're pressing, keep our core tight, squeeze our glutes. We want to start by driving straight up and then pressing back, pushing the head through. What I don't want, because at a slight angle, is press and pushing the head through in what we call chicken, I like to call chicken necking it. We want to make sure we're keeping that head nice and neutral, pressing up, a little bit of thoracic extension. What I mean by thoracic extension is a little bit of lean from the upper spine, not from the lower. So I don't want to see that. What I want to see is that chest sticking out so we can press straight up, and making sure again we're not pressing forward, we're going to be pressing straight up. So I'll show you that. One more thing as well, I see some people in the gym who do strict press with one foot in front of the other. Now I wouldn't want that. The reason being is if I were in a staggered stance, that means our hips are going to be off center, so we're going to be slightly leaning to one side. If you can learn to go hip width apart, so feet straight down, keep that core engaged, core nice and tight as well, glutes squeezed tight, that's going to be a lot more stable environment. So teach yourself not to be in the stagger position, and it'll also help with core strength and also driving straight up overhead. So try not to go staggered stance, feet neutral. I'm going to build up and get to our top sets. So when I was talking before about the timings and how I work my timings on these lifts, so that every 2.5 minutes on the minute, I use an app called Interval Timer, which you might be able to see there. Interval Timer, all you do, you can just set timers repeating however long you want, every minute, every 10 seconds, whatever it is. You can set whatever timer it is. All I'm going to do is go onto the app. I've got my already pre-set setting, so every 2.5 minutes, we're going to be doing our set. We'll start the timer, we're going to do our set of 8, and then we're going to keep on going until the timer goes again, and repeat that for 4 rounds, so 10 minutes work. So set number 1, we're away. Right, so dumbbell bench press next. Just gonna do the one warm-up set to get into it. Some of the common mistakes that I see in dumbbell bench press, or bench press in general. First one, not keeping the feet flat on the ground throughout the whole time. So a lot of people, when they go into their bench press, they end up kicking their feet in the air when things start to get tough. Now, I want you to use your feet as almost a base of support. So when you get back into position, get those feet down, squeeze the glutes, drive the heels into the floor. Now from there, I want you to tuck your shoulder blades back. If you don't tuck your shoulder blades back, you're gonna end up losing all stability in the shoulder, putting your shoulder in an uncomfortable position. Now grip, I don't want to go too neutral or too wide, the elbows end up flaring to the side. I want somewhere in between. So I've got my feet planted, my glutes squeezed, my shoulders back, and I want to slowly come down until I start to feel a little bit of a stretch. You don't want to go too deep, then you're going to be loading your shoulder ligaments and tendons. Just nice and slowly down and press straight up. You don't have to bring them together, just drive straight up. Then when you finish, bring the dumbbells to neutral, lift the knees up, drop the dumbbells on the knees and sit up. 4 sets of 8, exact same thing. Then 3-second eccentrics will humble you. Jesus, that burns. Dips next. Right, next, a little bit of tricep compound work, tricep dips. I'm gonna try and keep my elbows tucked in, make sure my chest is staying out, not letting my shoulders round. Elbows tucked in so we can isolate the triceps a little bit more. Just gonna get 8 reps. Gonna start with body weight. We might add a little bit of weight to this one. Same thing, 10 minutes, every 2.5 minutes on the minute. Whoo. Time for a little bit of a blast. Here we go, a little bit of a blast to finish. Change it up slightly. I'm just gonna do standing ski because I want to. Gonna aim for about 12 cals, nice and quick. Shouldn't completely burn me out, but I want it to be a nice quick pace, taking between 30-40 seconds. Then we're gonna go straight into overhead banded tricep extensions. I've got a kettlebell on the floor, I've got a purple resistance band, and then I've attached a rope tricep thingy to it. And then we've got dumbbell lateral raises. Stick between 10 and 12 reps on the weighted movements, and then about 12 calories on the ski. 5 rounds, 15-minute EMOM. Got my 1 minute repeated timer. Let's get cracking. Good pump. There we have it. Functional bodybuilding push day. Starting off a little bit more strength-based stuff, covering shoulder compound, chest compound, tricep compound. Today we work 4 sets of 8. Like I said, you can change the rep ranges to suit you. You can do more high intensity stuff, but I like to work the time, get a bit more volume in, especially for upper body work. More volume means more of a pump. Get your feeling good more than anything. And then finish with a good little blast, get the heart rate going, working some accessory movements, but also working on your cardio at the same time. So good little blast, good little pump. If you enjoyed these sort of videos, a bit more tutorial walkthrough stuff, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what workout you want to see next. Upper body, lower body, push, pull, legs, chest day, arm day, shoulder day, whatever it is. I'm not a big fan of those single body part sessions. I like to fit more things in. Normally it's full upper body, full lower body, but for the time being, emphasize a little bit more hypertrophy. We're splitting it up a little bit, push-pull legs every so often, not all the time, just for the fun. Keep training fun and enjoyable, which is the main thing, keeps it going. Consistency is key, whatever keeps it going. So, less of me blabbering. If you feel like you like the style of training I do, you want to come train with me, all the information to sign up to one-to-one PT, whether it's in person or online, is down below. There's a little questionnaire. Leave your email, your number, your name, your goals, all that sort of stuff, and I will give you a little text or an email. But yes, hope everyone enjoys the video. Hope everyone's training well, eating well, living well. That's what it's all about, and I'll see you in the next video. Over and out.